Alright, so let me start by saying I'm not, like, a Tinder junkie or anything. I don't have 10 different apps on rotation. I'm not out here with a pickup line of the day calendar. I'm just a regular guy who occasionally swipes when the mood hits. It's kind of like ordering Taco Bell at midnight. You know it's not the healthiest option. You know you're probably going to regret it later, but in the moment, it scratches an itch. That's what Tinder is for me. Convenience mixed with boredom. I download it, delete it, download it again. A cycle. And that night, I guess, was just another lap on the wheel. So picture this. I'm on my couch, sweatpants, old t-shirt with a hole in the armpit, TV buzzing in the background with a show I wasn't even watching. One hand in a bag of chips, the other lazily swiping like it was muscle memory. That's the thing. After a while, swiping stops being a choice. You don't even think about the people. You just keep going. Left, left, left. It's like your thumb develops a mind of its own. Sometimes I'd stop and actually read a bio. You know, the classics. Love to travel, dog mom, fluent in sarcasm. Or the infamous, looking for something real, which always made me snort because, let's be honest, Tinder is about as real as reality TV. But mostly, it was just me zoning out, swiping past strangers' faces like I was skimming through background extras in a movie. But then something weird started happening. And listen, when I say weird, I don't mean ghost in the closet weird. I mean more like, your phone lags weird. Like, the photos felt off somehow. It's not that the girls weren't real, they looked real. Just distorted maybe? Like when you're walking through a carnival funhouse and the mirrors stretch you tall or squash you wide. Nothing dramatic enough to scream, something's wrong, but enough to make me tilt my head and think, huh, that's odd. One girl had these eyes that seemed a little too wide, like she'd just seen a UFO. Another had this smile that didn't stop where smiles usually stop. I laughed it off, told myself my screen was dirty, rubbed it on my sweatpants, kept going. I mean, come on. Glitchy app? Been there. Creepy app? That wasn't even on my radar. Still, there was this itch in the back of my brain, like maybe I should stop. But stopping is the hardest thing with Tinder, isn't it? It's designed to keep you hooked, like a casino slot machine. You keep swiping because maybe the next one will be the one, or at least someone worth messaging. So I ignored the itch, ignored the stretched smiles and the wide eyes, and just kept swiping. Left, left, left. Like clockwork. And then, boom, she shows up. Nothing dramatic, no music swelling in the background, just another face in the lineup. Brown wavy hair, freckles across her nose, this crooked little half smile that made her look like she'd just remembered a joke she couldn't tell out loud. She wasn't over-the-top gorgeous, not the type that makes you drop your phone, but there was something about her. Approachable, maybe. The kind of girl you'd bump into at a bookstore or on a trivia team at a dive bar. And without thinking, I swiped left. Just like that. No second guessing, no hesitation. On to the next. The funny part? I forgot about her 5 seconds later. That's the nature of the app. People blur together. She was just another face in the endless scroll, one more digital stranger I'd never see again. Or so I thought. Fast forward to the next morning. I'm groggy, late for work, and all I want is caffeine strong enough to rewire my DNA. I walk into my regular coffee spot, the one where the barista already knows my order and rolls her eyes when I mumble it half asleep. I'm standing in line, scrolling Twitter, minding my business, when I get that feeling. You know the one, like someone staring at you. Not in a casual, oh, I glanced your way kind of stare. No, this was laser-focused, burn a hole through your skull kind of stare. So I look up, and guess who's standing there? Her. Crooked smile. Brown waves of hair. Same face, down to the freckles. I nearly dropped my phone. She didn't order anything. Didn't even look at the menu. Just stood there, staring at me, the whole time. Like I was the only thing in the room worth looking at. And listen, I'm not so egotistical to think, yeah, of course she noticed me. I'm irresistible. No, this wasn't flirting. This wasn't interest. This was blank. Like she was waiting for something. I did what any sane guy would do. I pretended not to notice. Grabbed my coffee, muttered a thanks, and bolted. But the second I hit the sidewalk, I heard it. Footsteps. Not right behind me, but close enough. Steady. In rhythm with mine. I kept walking, faster now. Checked my phone like I was busy. Glanced back. Yep, still her. Same crooked smile, same distance between us, like she was measuring each step. Half a block later, I spun around. And she was gone. No corner turned, no door opening, just gone. And maybe it was the caffeine kicking in, or maybe it was the lack of sleep. But this thought crept into my head, quiet and unwanted. Maybe swiping left didn't mean goodbye. Maybe it meant see you soon. It's funny how quick weird turns into unlivable. At first, I thought maybe I was imagining things. You know, stress, sleep deprivation, too much screen time. The brain does dumb tricks when you're tired. But then it kept happening. Every single time I swiped left, someone new showed up. Not online, no, in real life. In my space. And at first, I told myself it was just coincidences stacked on top of each other. Like, hey, what are the odds I'd run into someone who looks like that girl from last night? But after the third, fourth, fifth time, coincidence didn't cut it anymore. Something was happening, and I couldn't explain it without sounding insane. The guy on the subway was when it really hit me. Normal Tuesday morning, headphones in, fighting for a spot on the 7 train, when this dude slides into the seat across from me. And right away, I recognized him. I'd swiped left on his face the night before. Bald head, sunken cheeks, eyes like he hadn't slept in years. And he just stares. No blinking, no phone, no book, no nothing. Just stares at me, locked in. I try to ignore it, pretend I don't notice, but then he leans forward. Close. Too close. His lips move, whispering something I can't quite hear, so I tug one earbud out. And that's when I realize it isn't English. It isn't any language I've ever heard. It's just sounds. Wet, broken sounds. Like syllables chewed up and spit out wrong. His jaw opens wider than it should, his mouth stretching too far, and all I can think is nope. I'm on my feet, squeezing between strangers, and I get off 3 stops early just to escape him. And you know what? He doesn't follow. He just sits there, whispering to the empty space I left behind. That night, I thought maybe I could sleep it off. But she was waiting. This woman, heavy makeup, lipstick cracked like old paint, standing across the street from my apartment. At first I told myself, she's just waiting for someone. She's got a ride coming. But no, she was waiting for me. Because the second I opened my door, her head snapped up. Eyes locked. That same blank intensity I'd seen in the coffee shop, in the subway. And then she started walking. Not running, not shouting, just walking, steady, like a machine. I slammed my door shut, bolted it, shoved a chair under the knob like I was in a movie. And she pounded on it. Over and over. Not screaming, not saying anything. Just pounding. The walls rattled, the frame shook. And it went on for hours. When it finally stopped, I didn't open the door. I just sat there in the dark, staring at it, waiting for the next knock. That's when I noticed something was wrong with their voices. When they spoke, if you could call it that, it was always too high or too low, warped like an old cassette tape stretched thin. They weren't just strangers. They weren't people. They were copies. Bad ones. Like someone printed a human face on a busted printer and said, yeah, close enough. Their movements were jerky, their smiles were too wide, and their eyes never, ever blinked. And every single one of them was a face I'd swiped left on. So I did the obvious thing. I deleted the app. Or tried to. But the little red X wouldn't stick. The second I cleared it off my screen, it came back, glowing brighter, like it was mocking me. I even smashed my phone. Took it out back, hurled it against the concrete until the glass spiderwebbed, until shards cut into my palms. But when I looked down, the screen lit up again. Flickering, buzzing, alive. And the app was still there, waiting for me. That endless row of faces lined up like soldiers. I stopped sleeping. Couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard them. Nails on my windows, footsteps in the hall, whispers bleeding through the walls like static. I stopped eating too. What's the point when your whole life shrinks down to one thing? Your thumb dragging left. 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 Over and over. Automatic. Reflex. Because stopping wasn't an option anymore. Stopping meant facing them. And swiping only made it worse. Every face I rejected crawled out of my phone and into my world, swarming me, circling me, waiting for me to finally look up. And God help me, I couldn't stop. I thought I'd gotten used to it. The pounding, the whispering, the parade of broken faces pressing in from every corner of my life. But then something shifted. It was subtle at first, buried deep in the endless scroll, like a mistake the app didn't want me to notice. And trust me, after all those nights of staring until my eyes burned, I knew those faces better than my own reflection. The cheerleaders, the gym bros, the filtered selfies, the crooked grins, I'd memorized them. So when I saw something different, it hit me like a punch to the chest. It wasn't human. Couldn't be. Its profile wasn't even a picture, not really. Just static, a blurry smear of black and white, like the ghost of a photograph that had been chewed up and spat out. But the eyes. God, the eyes. Hollow, empty pits that seemed to swallow the light around them. And the grin, it didn't stop at the edges of the frame. It stretched, wider and wider, like it was waiting for me to notice, waiting for me to flinch. Everything in me screamed, don't touch it, don't even breathe near it. But the swipes wouldn't stop. The faces came faster now, multiplying like a virus. Every one I rejected was outside my door in seconds, pounding until my walls shook, scratching at the windows, whispering my name in voices pitched wrong, too high, too low. My apartment had become a cage, shrinking by the hour, air so thick with their presence I could barely breathe. My thumb dragged left, 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 desperate, automatic, but the flood didn't stop. If anything, it grew stronger. I realized then, this wasn't about rejection anymore. Every left swipe was fuel, every no, another invitation. And that's when the truth hit me. The only way out wasn't to say no. It was to say yes. My hand was shaking so bad I could barely hold the phone, but I hovered over that profile. The static face grinned back at me, teeth like shards, eyes like holes. The voices outside crescendoed, chanting my name, slamming against the walls, climbing through the cracks. And then, with a breath I didn't know I was holding, I did it. I swiped right. The world folded in on itself. And I don't mean figuratively, I mean everything. The walls buckled inward like paper under fire. The floor curled and bent upward as if some unseen hand was crumpling reality itself. The ceiling sagged and dripped, melting down in thick, waxy ribbons. Even the air wasn't spared. It shuddered and tore, collapsing toward a single impossible point. My ears popped, a sharp sting that made me wince, and then my chest caved as if gravity had turned against me. Every bone, every nerve, felt like it was being rewritten, scrambled into something unrecognizable. The screaming faces around me stretched into streaks of light, mouths still open but swallowed by distortion. Then, silence. A vacuum of sound. Black. Nothing. I don't remember what happened after. Maybe I blacked out. Maybe I actually died for a second. Heart stopped, brain shut down, everything erased before being stitched back together again. All I know is this. When I opened my eyes, I was back in my bed. Sheets twisted around my legs, damp with sweat. Sunlight seeped through the blinds in pale stripes, cutting the room into light and shadow. My phone rested on the nightstand, its screen glowing faintly like it had been waiting for me to wake up. No app, no feed, no faces, just a blank home screen staring back at me, quiet and innocent, like none of it had ever happened. Like it was all some fever dream. But dreams don't follow you. Now, when I leave my apartment, when I walk down the street or ride the subway, I notice them. At first it was small, a flash of recognition in the corner of my eye, a face that looked familiar but couldn't be. Then it kept happening. Again and again. I started recognizing them everywhere. The faces I swiped on. I know it sounds insane, but I swear it's true. They're out there. Some of them smiling too wide, holding it a little too long, like they're trying too hard to pass for normal. Others just staring, unblinking, following me with their eyes as I move. They blend into the crowd, tucked into office buildings, crossing streets, laughing in cafes. They look like they belong, like they've always been here, but I know better. They don't. They can't. Because I remember where I saw them first. On my screen. Under my thumb. Left or right. Swipe after swipe. And there's something worse, something I can't shake. I feel it sometimes. In the way the air buzzes with static when the street suddenly goes quiet. In the flicker of fluorescent lights overhead. In the sharp cold that settles into my chest for no reason at all. It's him. Or it. That thing. The grin that stretched too far. The one I swiped right on. I haven't seen it since, not directly. But I feel it. Every night. Just before sleep. I can sense it pressed up against the edges of the dark, waiting. I know it hasn't left. It hasn't stopped. And the worst part? Deep down, I think it's still swiping. Every face I pass in the crowd, every stranger who locks eyes with me. It's like the wheel is still spinning, the game's still going. And sooner or later, it's going to land on me again. And this time, I don't think I'll wake up in my bed.